Legends of Tomorrow originally began as a time-travel superhero team-up show following the side heroes of Arrow and The Flash, who maybe don't fit on their shows anymore. The first season was not executed well or done well at all, but it was in seasons 2 and 3 where the show really found its footing. However, the season 4 Arrowverse curse affected its third victim, as the show completely jumped the shark and completely fell apart in season 4. The heroes never wore their costumes or used their powers all that much, so if you're looking for a superhero show, I don't really think this is what you would want, and this is not what I want. But even more so than that, the show started focusing on a lot more original characters like Ava Sharp, Charlie, and maybe the worst character in TV history, Mona Wu, aka Wolfie, and they just completely stopped focusing on the characters that made this show and the whole Arrowverse possible, the DC characters, and what the Arrowverse is based off the DC universe. The only DC heroes left on the show were John Constantine, Citizen Steel, and the Atom, and now that the Atom is leaving in season 5, and the fact that Citizen Steel never really uses his powers or wears his costume, that means that just leaves John Constantine, and as what we've seen before, he just isn't enough to hold an entire TV show, especially one that is supposed to be a superhero team-up show. With all that in mind, I think Legends of Tomorrow is in desperate need of some help from its fellow Arrowverse shows, as it seems like, based off what we've seen since the beginning of the show, they are basically incapable of bringing in DC characters and using them well, or DC superheroes at least, and making them good characters. Really, the only time they ever done that, where they brought in actual DC superheroes and made them long-lasting great characters, were Rip Hunter and Nate Haywood, aka Citizen Steel, and that is it. So I really think that now in season 5, which by the way takes place entirely after Crisis on Infinite Earths, which opens the door to basically any character in the multiverse potentially joining the Legends, I think that I've narrowed that down to 5 Arrowverse superheroes who I think should join the Legends in season 5 after Crisis on Infinite Earths, because it seems like this show is in desperate need of some help from Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl too, but there are no Supergirl characters on this list. Jesse Wells, also known as Jesse Quick, is from Earth 2, and if, like in the comics, Earth 2 is one of the universes that is combined into the new Earth, then Jesse Quick would most logically be in Central City on the new Earth, since that's where she lives on Earth 2, which would mean that it would make the most sense for her to rejoin Team Flash, because she lives in Central City, which honestly I'm not against at all. I think that would be really cool to see Jesse on Team Flash again, since while he left, Jay never really joined Team Flash, and also he's seemingly retired, and also XS was erased from existence. Barry is the only speedster on Team Flash left, so I don't think it would be a bad idea at all for Jesse to rejoin the team. However, I also think that she would work also very well on the Legends, as in season 3 they used Kid Flash for a little, and having a speedster on the Legends for some reason really worked like very well, and I think that could also be the case for Jesse Quick. I mean, with her powers, costume, and also her personality, the Legends would probably be a very good fit. Whether she joins Team Flash or the Legends, I'd probably be happy, because Jesse out of nowhere became such a great character in Enter Flash Time, as the actress improved immensely, and ever since then I've wanted to see the character a lot more. So if after Crisis on Infinite Earths she joins Team Flash or joins the Legends, I would be happy, because I just want to see more of the character. But I think the Legends are in much more desperate need of a character like Jesse, so I think maybe that's where she should go. Red Tornado is from Earth X, which, just like Earth 2, was one of the 5 universes that was combined into the new Earth in the comics, and with the significance Earth X had in year 6 of the Arrowverse, with Crisis on Earth X very much focusing on that world, as well as 2 seasons of Freedom Fighters The Ray, I think it would probably end up being one of those universes in the Arrowverse as well, which gives us some pretty great DC characters to use in the Arrowverse, like The Ray, but also the one I want to see on the Legends is Red Tornado. Red Tornado wasn't really much of a character in the crossover. He was much more of just a weapon who looked really cool with the CGI character that he was, but that wasn't the case in Freedom Fighters The Ray. For all the things that show did terribly, the one thing it did kind of better than the crossover was the fact that Red Tornado was an actual character in that show, and I think that with that voice and personality, there's no reason why he can't be a character again in the upcoming crossover, but also in maybe a new season of Legends of Tomorrow. Now, Red Tornado was kind of an antagonist in Crisis on Earth X. He certainly wasn't a villain, but he was an antagonist as he was trying to destroy Nazi base that just so happened to be the only way for the Earth 1 heroes to get home, so they had to stop him. But now, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and after Red Tornado was most likely rebuilt, I think that he should maybe have a bigger role in the Arrowverse, because Red Tornado is a pretty significant hero in the comics, and I think that maybe the Legends would be the best place for him, especially now that Zari, who had the exact same powers as Red Tornado, but maybe a little scaled down, isn't a member of the team anymore. Red Tornado is a full CGI character, which would obviously be way too expensive to have in every single episode, and maybe even in the majority of episodes, but something they did in the comics was make him a human-looking body called John Smith, or that was his alter ego, so that he can have a normal life, and I honestly wouldn't really have much of a problem with him turning into that human most of the time, and not being a CGI character most of the time. Sure, it may be annoying, like with Citizen Steel or with Martian Manhunter on Supergirl, but it would be better than nothing for Red Tornado, and also the Legends.
Sir, too.
You're cute, but you talk too much.
Oh, you want to play dirty, huh?
Gypsy is from Earth 19, which isn't one of the 5 universes that was combined in the New Earth and the comics, and also Earth 19 isn't really one of the 5 most significant Arrowverse universes either, so I doubt it's going to survive the upcoming crossover. But in a hypothetical situation where either Earth 19 does indeed survive, or at least Gypsy survives, I think that, similarly to Jesse Quick, the most logical place for her to end up would be Team Flash in Central City, because that's where she lives on Earth 19. But unlike Jesse Quick, I don't really want to see her on Team Flash anymore, which is why Gypsy's higher on this list, because I think that Team Flash wouldn't really fit with her. I mean, Cisco's still there, it could be a little bit awkward, and it'll feel like maybe she's replacing Cisco, as they have the exact same powers, and now Cisco doesn't have those powers anymore. So I think that I don't really want Gypsy to be on Team Flash, but I do think that she is a character who should stick around, but not on Team Flash, instead on Legends of Tomorrow.
Nice aim.
That's the thing. They aim themselves.
Curtis Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, was a character on Arrow for a while, joining the show in Season 4, becoming Mr. Terrific in Season 5, and abruptly moving to Washington, D.C. and leaving the show completely in Season 7, and also returning for the finale. While he did leave the show, he is still active as Mr. Terrific, so I see no reason why he won't return for the crossover, especially since the Flash showrunner has shown interest in using Curtis on the show, which I don't really think that would work, as they already have a mechanical engineer, and he and Cisco are maybe too similar in what they bring to the table, and kind of a little bit the personalities, for Mr. Terrific to work on Team Flash. However, I do think Mr. Terrific should stick around in the Arrowverse, just like characters like Gypsy and Jesse Quick, and should join the Legends. The Legends don't really have any character like Mr. Terrific in terms of his costume, his abilities, and what he brings to the table, so I think that with all of that in mind, Mr. Terrific should stick around in the Arrowverse, and the best place to put him would probably be the Legends.
I am the very last living soul of Haven Rock, and I carry with me a message from all those souls you killed.
Rory Regan, aka Ragman, has got to be one of, if not the most wasted heroes in the Arrowverse, as he joined Team Arrow in episode 2 of Season 5, and then left just 10 episodes later in episode 12, as his rags lost their power after stopping a nuclear explosion. Now, I don't really understand why they used the character at all, if they were going to use him for such a small amount of episodes, especially since he kind of felt like he was going to be a character that was going to stick around for a very long time. But he left the show because he lost his powers, but considering his powers are based in magic, and the it's been a very long time since that happened. With how much the show has been focusing on magic since season 3 on Legends of Tomorrow, I think it would be awesome for Ragman to return for the crossover with his rags fully working, and then after that joining the Legends, as I think he would be a perfect fit with his unique magical abilities. With John Constantine being on the team, he could add that Justice League dark feel to the show. It's really the only thing the show has left that is really interesting, and his costume is pretty cool, so I think Ragman is probably the Arrowverse superhero that I think should join the Legends the most in the upcoming season. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below which Arrowverse superheroes you think should join the Legends, and which one of these superheroes of these 5 you want to see the most. You can vote in the top right corner of the video in a poll about which one of these 5 superheroes you think should join the Legends. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.